Over the last year, Californians for Energy and Science conducted continuous air quality monitoring in California oil fields. We placed industrial scientific BZ Radius 1 air monitors on oil wells and close to oil production rigs and drilling rigs in California's oil fields. We did this over 3 sites. The first site had over 9,000 active oil wells and continuous production work happening in the field. We created a virtual fence line with the devices between the field operations and the community, which was less than 250 feet from these operations. That first site, we saw 0 emissions going from the oil fields into the community. The next site we studied had active oil wells and production tanks and facilities. Again, we saw 0 emissions coming from the field operations into the community, which was also within 200 feet from the operations. Finally, we conducted continuous air quality monitoring at an active drilling operation. We put the devices on all 4 corners of the drilling pad. We continually monitored from before the time the rig was on location for a week, during the entire drilling operations, and after the drilling operations. What we find might come as a surprise to you. We found there were no emissions associated with the actual drilling operations. However, we did find a release of hydrogen sulfide and gases with lower explosive limits, LELs, and we thought, what could this be generated from? It's not the oil well. Well, we looked at the timesheets. The timesheets showed that the emission spike that we saw for about 90 minutes that day was associated with the exact time that the portable restrooms were being pumped by the pumping company. In other words, when they were cleaning out the port-a-potties, we saw gas releases and we saw the emissions from these units. We see these all over construction sites, all over open spaces in California. However, we don't have 3,200-foot setbacks from porta-potties. And now what we've determined through our first 3 sites of monitoring is we need to do even more monitoring. We're going to monitor other sites with the existing technology we have, as well as thermal imaging cameras to show in real time visually that nothing is being released from California's oil fields. So it was a big finding for us, and we're getting to the root cause, which is porta-potties in California oil fields, not the operations of the actual oil and gas drilling and production.